Hey everybody, it's time for my August TBR, and this time it's short. I promise it's short. There are only, I can count, there's only 6 books. So let's jump right into it. The first book is Undead Girl Gang, which I've already started reading because I can't help myself. So this one I had been looking forward to since before it came out, and I requested it at the library before it came out, and I had to wait a long time because this book was super popular. So it's for August. I just got this book. This book came out a few months ago, so super popular book, and I'm liking what I'm reading of it so far. So just already a little tidbit for you: if you can get your hands on it, you might enjoy it. All right, so the main character, Mila, and her best friend were kind of half studying Wicca to be witches. They weren't necessarily taking it seriously, but Mila's best friend ends up dead. Mila thinks she is murdered, along with possibly 2 other girls in their school, and she takes it upon herself to try to figure out what happened. So she does a spell, and basically it ends up bringing them back from the dead to try to figure out what happened. And they are only back from the dead for 7 days, and that's how long they have to try to figure out if they were murdered, who murdered them, if that's what happened, before the spell is over and they have to return back to their graves. So it's one of those stories that you know is probably gonna be like, it's gonna hurt because some characters they're just gonna be dead and you can't help it, like so they're gonna bring them back to life for a little bit, but it's just it's magic and girls and friendship, and that's my type of book, so I'm here for it. I'm already loving it, like that's my type of book. All right, the next one, did I even say the author of this? No, because I was so excited. Lily Anderson is the author of Undead Girl Gang. All right, I'm so excited to talk about Undead Girl Gang. I've been waiting forever for this book, so forgive me for being so excited to finally have it in my hands. Okay. Next book. Invisible Ghosts by Robin Schneider, and I talked about this one in my most anticipated summer releases. This is one of the first books I was actually able to get my hands on relatively quickly. So in this one, the good girl, what is her name? Rose. Her name is Rose. She is best friends with her brother, and her brother is dead. He is forever stuck at the age of 15. So he's stuck being a teenager, and she's growing up, but it's one of those cases where she doesn't want to lose him. And a boy comes back into town, and I think they all used to be friends, and kind of seeing him slip into their old friend group reminds her of what she's missing basically in like this growing up phase. And like even though she doesn't want to get close to him, why do I always lose my voice in these things? She gets closer to him, and it's another one of those kind of like heart-rending stories where you're like, she doesn't want to give up on the memory of her brother, but she's also realizing that she's missing out on her life and growing up and what that could mean. So this is just a little bit of supernatural magical realism with a touch of let me break your heart for you. Yeah, that's here you go. So that's also on my list. I don't know why I gotta choose the stories that are just out to twist the knife a little bit in your heart. But the next book, Labyrinth Lost by, part of her name's covered up, I believe it's Zoraida Cordova. Yes, Zoraida Cordova. Cordova? Am I saying that right? Yeah. So, this one is another witchy one because I love magic, and the second book is coming out this year, so I really wanted to read the first one so that I could read the second one. And this one is just this girl being a witch. She is the most powerful, and she honestly hates magic, so she performs a spell for her magic to go away, and it backfires and her entire family disappears, and she's left alone with a brujo boy, a magic boy that she doesn't trust, but he seems to be the only one who might be able to help her break the spell, fix the spell, bring back her family. Yes, magic, and culturally diverse magic. That's my favorite part of it. Okay, yes, because this Undead Girl Gang had a Wicca flair to it, so it was sort of along the lines of a like Wiccan belief system, and this one is like a Latinx magic of brujas, and I'm like, yes, I hadn't really seen that until Labyrinth Lost, and now I think there's a few more coming out, and I was kind of hoping that's what Undead Girl Gang was going to be, because the main character is a fat Mexican girl. I was hoping it was gonna be like another bruja book, but the magic they were starting to do, at least where I'm at, is Wiccan magic. So who knows what's going on. Not that there can't be more than one type of magic, obviously. I don't know. It's me and my granny and like the dead ass like Mexican part somewhere far away. Yeah. Anyway. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I almost misread that. The covers are so shiny of library books, okay? This book has been getting rave reviews, and I hadn't even heard of it, but I picked it up from my library. It sounded like something I would love, even though it's just, yes. Okay, so I don't remember the main characters' names ever, other than Evelyn. So Monique is selected to write the biography of Evelyn Hugo, who was a starlet in the 50s, and she's basically been, you know, like reclusive and hermited away, and she's finally ready to tell her story. And she goes through like all these ups and downs and her 7 husbands and this tale. And what I love about it is that it is a queer story. So I believe it is girls loving girls, lesbians. I don't know how that figures into it, because this is one of those books that if it didn't get passed around by word of mouth, you probably would never pick it up thinking that it is queer fiction. Like, I would never have known if people hadn't been like, yes, one of my favorite queer books this year so far, and I was like, what? So I'm here for this, like a starlet from the 50s, and just explaining everything that happened and her ups and downs and her ambition trying to make it into Hollywood, and potentially being closeted and marrying all these guys, trying to hide it, I assume. And then, yeah, it just, I don't know, I imagine that's probably fairly tragic to think about how many people were living like that. And I don't know, this just seems like a really good book. There's been so many phenomenal reviews. I can't wait to get to it. Yeah. Honestly, I think this one, for some reason, I think Lavender Gloss is also supposed to be queer, and I'm not sure why. Is she supposed to be, the main character, I think is maybe supposed to be bisexual? Is that a thing? Is that, do I do any research before I do these TBRs? No, no. I like to pick up books and just like read them, okay? Like, I do a precursory glance at their summaries and that's what I do, okay? Like, all right. If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. I followed the author on Tumblr for a long time, and then their book was coming out. I didn't realize they had a book coming out. And this was last year, early last year, and I forgot about it after a while, and then I saw it, and I was like, oh yeah, this was supposed to be a really good, like, mystery thriller about these kids who are in a drama club, and it's almost like their identities get mixed up between the parts they're playing on stage and who they are in real life, and something happens, like they're too involved in the parts they're playing, the play they are acting out, and something happens. I don't know if someone gets killed or what. It's nothing, it doesn't say exactly what happens, but like someone ends up in jail for it, and it's a mystery about what happens, and it opens up that like 10 years later when someone's being released and they finally want to tell the story, and they're flashing back to what happened when they were in high school, and like finally looking back on it and going like, what happened? They were so involved in, like, I want to say it's almost like a little bit of that magical realism where like you're so involved in the parts you're playing, you can't tell the difference between that and reality, like that type of thing. So this just sounded really interesting, and I was almost gonna try to save this for like October, but I really wanted something like a good mystery thriller, but not like a supernatural one, and I had quite a lot of supernatural magical ones, so this one looks really good. And one more, fill in like my high fantasy quota, because I haven't read a high fantasy in a long time, but this one was getting really good reviews, and honestly it sounds amazing, like I can see why. And this is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I'm sorry. And the cover I know is really shiny, but it's beautiful. It's like the Chinese, like the ink drawings, and like look at the back, like it's also kind of like that, like it's just it's beautiful. Like I love it. So this one is obviously an Asian inspired fantasy, which I'm loving that we're having more like non-Western or European fantasies, because thank you guys. Thank you. So this is set in an empire. The Nikara Empire. Sorry, it doesn't say it right away. It says it in like the middle, where what the name of the empire is. So the Nikara Empire, this is after a war like the Poppy War, and their empire is at peace right now, and the main character Rin has aced the Keiju, the empire-wide test to find talented youths to go into their military academies, basically. And she is a dark-skinned peasant girl from the south. So this deals with a lot of like classism and genderism that I don't think we necessarily see in fantasy, especially because this would have been a thing in a lot of Asian countries. So this being inspired by Asian countries for Asian fantasy, it's interesting to see that play out, that a lot of dark-skinned people from the south would have been looked down on compared to the paler northerners seen as higher class. Like I can foresee those like classist arguments being made, and I'm like, okay, that's really interesting. I like to see those types of things, and I believe the author has studied modern Chinese history, so it's just so interesting when someone brings the history that they've studied into the fantasy that they write. Like it just makes it more believable as a world like that they create. Sorry, I'm kind of geeking out like as a writer here when there's just well-written fantasy. I haven't even read it yet, but just reading from this, I'm like, this feels pretty dang well crafted already. Okay, so she's having a hell of a time at this military academy because she is a poor girl from the South. She doesn't look like everybody else, and her classmates are giving her hell. And while she's there, she discovers that she has a power that people have thought to be extinct or nearly extinct, a shamanic power, basically, to communicate with the gods, to, I haven't read it, so I don't know exactly how it works, but I'm gonna say maybe to be like a vessel for the gods, or for the gods' power, you know, like that type of thing. So that's one of the things that all of a sudden this poor girl from the South has this lethal power that people thought was gone. So Rin has to learn how to control this power, and even though the Empire's at peace, there's another war brewing, and it's just, you know her powers are gonna be the only way to either save the Empire, or it's just she's gonna be important. So it's a pretty big hunger. It's over 500 pages. It's a solid fantasy. So I'm so much looking forward to this, and from what I've heard, it's dark. Like from the time it opens up, this is a dark adult fantasy. Like it's rough. It's not like, if you see a lot of what I read, I pick up a lot of young adult stuff. The author has explicitly said that she's like, this is not young adult, that like, please stop putting this on lists with young adult and then getting pissed that this is not young adult, okay? Like I wrote this for adults. This is an adult fantasy. It is dark, it is gory. Like, okay, this is a girl in a military academy. She's learning to fight. That it's dark, and I was like, okay, like I'm here for the dark stuff. So just so y'all know, I guess I better put the warning up there as well, since the author apparently has been getting shit for it, because people also do not care. Like I said, do I do a lot of research on my books? I just pick up what sounds interesting. I do tend to read a lot of young adult, but then I pick up stuff that is adult, kind of classic historical fiction. Like I read all kinds of stuff. So I guess I should just make it clear that this is not a young adult fantasy. This is a dark adult fantasy. But I cannot wait to get to this, because this looks and sounds amazing, and the cover is beautiful, and just look at that back cover. I just want you to see, like, can you see that illustration again? Like, I'm sorry for the library cover, but it's gorgeous. I'm a sucker for illustration in books or on books. Just like, I love watercolor and this type of like ink and like flowing design. It's just gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Okay, I think that's it. I have one more, because I didn't want to forget it, because last time I forgot it. I forgot the arc I was reading for that month, and the arc I'm reading for this month is Finding Yvonne by Brandy Colbert. And technically I think I'm reading this in July and posting the vlog early, but I'm including this in my August TBR because I don't know what to do with it, and I'm a mess. Okay, all right, this girl, this brilliant girl, she is a musician who wants to go to an art conservatory and she's realizing she might not make it in, and she meets this street musician who plays the same instruments, and they hit it off, and she realizes like she's pregnant, and that kind of changes everything for her. And it's one of those stories where she has to realize, like, what is she going to do? Does that change her entire future of what she thought? You know, it's one of those like gripping contemporaries. So this is what I'm including in this TBR, because I don't know, the reading vlog may already be up. I don't know, because I'm a mess. So this is how I do things on this channel, okay? Books pop up, books pop in. I'm not even including my rollover TBR, because at this point it has its own shelf on my Goodreads, TBR rollover, and I just pick from there occasionally when I have the time, alright? Those are the books that I don't get to every month and they roll over, alright? I'm hoping to get to all of these books. So yes, these books, these lovely, wonderful books for the month of August. If I can hold them up and not lose my voice. What is it with me? The minute I start talking, jeez. Yes, I said it was smaller. It's smaller than last month's, but that's only because I didn't include my rollover TBR, right? Right? Yes. I promise next month, what is next month? September? September is smaller. Right now I only have 5 books on that TBR, so that one's gonna be smaller, guaranteed. Guaranteed, or your money back for watching this channel. You guys don't pay to watch me, so yeah. Anyway, so this has been my August TBR. I got a lot of good books to read, and we'll see if I actually if I get to them this month. At least I'm not doing a Camp NaNoWriMo or anything this month. I'll still be writing, so like I still got to be doing that. I just yeah. So I'm already in the middle of one book. Well, it's going good so far. It's going good so far. So anyway, give this video a like if you liked it. Yeah, and I'll subscribe to my channel for more just messy TBRs like this, and reading vlogs and writing content, because I'm a writer of sorts. And let me know what are you reading for the month of August, and let me know if you've read any of the books that I have chosen for the month. Let me know what you think of them. Yes. Share the book talk love. Yes. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.